Is it too early for predictions for the Saints Monday night party with Detroit? Not when you have an abundance of Picksie Dust in studio and Larry Holder on standby. Stick around. The Black and Gold Today is up next. Welcome to the Black and Gold Today, sponsored by Cadillac of New Orleans. I'm the only one on this show with a winning streak, Jim Derry. After getting some momentum in Tampa and a couple of days off, the Saints set their sights on the Detroit Lions in Monday Night Football. Can the Black and Gold keep going forward after one of their worst stretches of football in the Sean Payton era? Well, let's go to one of our experts and columnist Larry Holder, who's out on airline drive since today is his Wednesday, and it's Thursday for me and Friday for just about everybody else in the city, and who knows. What's up?
It sounds like it might be Friday over there for you already. Getting crazy.
Not long. As soon as we hit the button, it's going to be Friday.
Good. How are you doing?
Well, let's talk about the Saints this week and hitting the Lions, coming in on a positive note. And what was that last week?
I think
it was certainly the most complete game outside of maybe the Atlanta game that we've seen all season. Defensively, it seems when Donnell Ellerbe plays, that's the key to anything. Saints are 4-1 when he plays, 1-7 when he doesn't. But look, I think they were able to fluster Jameis Winston early, and that got him out of sorts offensively. I thought the Saints were efficient, especially on third down and time of possession. I mean, 37 minutes to 22 minutes, huge key for the Saints, and they didn't turn the football over. So I'm curious to see if they can extend that complementary style of football in the Superdome on Monday night.
It'll be interesting because I talked about it a little bit with Jeff Duncan yesterday, but, you know, this team the defense has been quite better since Dennis Allen has taken over, and even though they gave up 41 points to Carolina, they've had a different look about them.
Yeah, and look, I think even going back to Houston, I know they gave up 2 quick touchdowns, and I came out and said I thought the defense looked better overall in that game, and people were wondering, well, did Houston just kind of take their foot off the pedal? I don't think that's the case. I think the defense actually just played pretty well after that. But yeah, for sure, 3 weeks in, the defense is better, and they're showing different kind of blitzes. They're showing different kind of coverages. You're even seeing a lot more cover 3 than you've seen a lot with 3 safeties lurking back there. So they threw some different looks at Jameis Winston, and I'm curious to see what kind of things they tinker with here against Matt Stafford. And again, this is a Detroit team where they've gone through a similar change on the offensive side of football. Change in offensive coordinators with the firing of Joe Lombardi earlier this season.
And there's been rumblings that Mr. Caldwell is next.
He could easily be next. And look, there's even rumblings about Matt Stafford. Is he the future for them? So they certainly have their fair share of issues when they come into town in a couple of days.
Well, and Calvin Johnson is 30 years old. His numbers are not the same as they were, especially, you know, he had that record-setting performance a couple of years ago, over 2,000 yards. But still, this offense, even though, you know, I pointed out the other day that he's only had a 100-yard game once this season, but, you know, this team could explode at any time.
Well, you look at not just Calvin Johnson, they have Golden Tate, who can be an explosive receiver, and he seems like he's gotten better within this new system, and he was openly critical of Joe Lombardi when he was still the offensive coordinator. And they were able to put up points late in the game last year and able to beat the Saints in Detroit, and that's a game the Saints probably should have won. And so when they get – and Matt Stafford, he's certainly capable. I mean, he can sling the ball. I just think it depends on if the Saints defense from last week can continue playing just as well as they did last week and extend that over this week. And if they do, I think they got a pretty good shot at beating the Lions.
Well, Larry, before we get to the break, I want to talk about that running game, which has been it's been up and down, and that's being kind. You know, Amir Abdullah was supposed to come in and really give this offense a boost, and he's been a disappointment.
And then you have Theo Riddick and Joik Bell, who's a former Saint, and that really hasn't gotten going. And that's one thing to where look, the Saints haven't been great stopping the run, and yet this could be a week where the fact that one team is basically one-dimensional, that the Saints can key in on that. But like I said, if the Saints if their poor run defense shows up, they could maybe surprise the Saints and break off some big runs. So, but yeah, it's certainly a weakness for Detroit, and I'm sure the Saints will try to look to exploit that.
Well, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. I don't know about our audience, but it's a moment you and I have been waiting for. It's coming up next right after the break.
What's one of the nicest things that comes with your new Cadillac from Cadillac of New Orleans? 0% interest.
Get 0% interest on all new Cadillacs, now at Cadillac of New Orleans. New owners, new attitude, on Lime Street in Rye in Metairie.
Picksie Dust Thursday, and I knew you couldn't win 3 in a row.
I'm lucky if I could win 1 in a row. The fact that I got 2 in a row is Miracle City, USA anyway.
You know, I was seriously ready to put together this video of you winning 3 in a row, and I was going to sprinkle the dust coming down, but couldn't happen.
No chance you were going to give me credit. I don't believe that was in the works at all. No chance.
All right, let's get to this week, and we're early this week since the Saints don't play. I'm saying we. Saints don't play until Monday, but we're going to do it on Thursday anyway. What you got?
Look, I think the Saints are going to make it 2 in a row. I think they're going to beat Detroit, say 28-20. I think the offense is starting to kind of get its legs under them. Offensive line-wise, I think they played really well against Tampa Bay, and that's going up against Gerald McCoy. And you saw Tim Alito and Andres Pete play pretty well.
Yeah.
I think that can continue. And I think defensively they're getting a little bit better. They're getting a little more comfortable with what Dennis Allen's going with. And I'm curious to see if the variations of blitzes, because like I said in the first segment, you saw a lot of different ones against Tampa Bay, and it got Jameis Winston flustered. And even when he was in the pocket, he was inaccurate with not a lot of pass rush around him at times. So I'm thinking the Saints are going to be able to do that to Matt Stafford. So Saints 28, Detroit Lions 20.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Saints are in deep trouble. Well, I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and look, but I don't know that the Saints have won when Larry and I have both picked them to win. It's happening here. I agree with you. I think that the prime time, the Dome, Jeff Duncan said they're going to be well lubricated. It's Monday night. You know, it's a holiday week. Half the city's off. It's going to be a fun night inside the Dome. They're going to forget for a little while that they're 5-8. I agree. I think the offense is playing a lot better. And the defense, it's a completely different unit, except for number 39. I think I could just get him off the field, but that's another show. But I do like the Saints. I think it's going to be a little higher scoring than what you predicted. I'm going to say 34-23 Saints. So.
Well, not much higher than I predicted for Detroit.
Not too much.
There you go.
We'll see how it goes. And look, we only have 2 weeks left. This is your last chance to win 3 in a row. You got to start it here.
I'm going to guess that's not going to happen. I'm just going to throw it out there right now.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Join us Friday as we hear from Drew Brees and others inside the locker room. And don't forget to join us Monday for a special Black and Gold Today when we talk to ESPN's Mike Tirico. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.